What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. Throwback week at one of the best tracks in all of NASCAR, Darlington. Darlington to me is, especially this weekend when they do the throwbacks, to see the paint schemes out there, the infamous Darlington stripe, how tough it is to pass, but also, how hard guys drive out there. It's really one of my favorite tracks. And it's funny. I feel like, we've had a stretch of good tracks. Kansas is a great track. Obviously, Martinsville is a great track. Now we've got Darlington. So this stretch of the schedule, Talladega was in there. So we've had a nice stretch. We still got Charlotte. The All-Star race at North Wilkesboro will be pretty cool. But after this stretch of racing, it kind of gets a little dull towards those summer months. So I just would say enjoy these races while you can. We had an amazing race at Kansas between Larson and Hamlin. I expect those guys to be good again this week at Darlington. They tend to be. And of course, the Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson incident after the race was pure gold. Just what our sport really, I think, needed. So all around a great weekend. In terms of bets, not the greatest, but we did can't complain. We broke about even if you did the Larson top 3, the Larson top 5. I think there was one more bet that I'm forgetting that we hit, but you broke about even if you did the Larson top 3 and top 5, which was very confident that would hit. And with that's going to roll into our bets this week because I like Larson again, but just wanted to do a little recap. So with that kind of behind us, now let's move into Darlington bets. So we're going to get to Larson, but I'm going to start with a winner that I really like this week. And it's interesting. I don't really have a ton of bets this week. I think a lot of what I'm going to be doing is going to come post-practice and post-qualifying. I think Darlington's a tough track to figure out. Track position is going to play key. It is very tough to pass at Darlington, especially with the aero package that we have right now with the next gen car. I expect it to be a good race, but I do think track position is gonna play key. So pit stall selection is going to be huge. Pit crew is going to be huge, not making mistakes like that. So a lot here. But at the same time, Johnny on the Track on Action Network, that's where you can find all my bets leading up to race day. So Johnny on the Track on Action Network, that's where you want to follow. All right. So Kevin Harvick is a winner that I really like this week at plus 1,400. And I like his top 5 number whenever that comes out. I haven't been able to find it anywhere, but he's plus 1,400 to win on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's a top 10 machine at Darlington, and I expect him to bring a really good car. He's one of those guys where although he hasn't gotten a win and although Stuart Haas hasn't been great, as usual, he's carrying the team. And it seems like whatever racetrack we go to, short track, road course, mile and a half, super speedway, he brings a fast car and he's up there competing for top 5s. And that's just who Kevin Harvick is. So I like him here, plus 1,400. He's won at this track, obviously, before. Look, I think, one of the last times, right, that he'll be driving at Darlington. And I think this is a track that drivers absolutely love. And it would be a great end. I know the Southern 500 is coming up, but just, last 2 times really that Kevin Harvick is going to be driving on Darlington. So he's got to make one of these count. Kevin Harvick plus 1,400 and the top 5 whenever that number comes. I like that bet. Another guy, I think you have to attack the number right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's plus 850, but I believe I saw him and my phone just died. So I could be wrong, but I believe I saw William Byron at plus 1,000 on Rhode Island Sportsbook. I think if the number is anywhere over plus 900, I don't love it at 850. I wish I did, on DraftKings. I don't love that, but I think if it's 900 or better, like I said, maybe you can find it some areas at plus 1,000. I think you take that. I think that's a really good number to get him at. He's been a dominant car, from start to where we are now this season, and he was the dominant car at this same race last year. We remember what happened. Joey Logano, Byron gets into Logano, squeezes him tight off the wall. Logano retaliates with a dump and run, really. But Byron had a great car. Probably should have won this race. Again, Logano had a great car too, but I think if we allowed those two to battle, who knows? But Logano's going to do what Logano does. So, like I said, fast car. If you can get the number close to 1,000, I think you do it. William Byron, I mean, we just saw it last week at Kansas. Even in the worst of days, where his team, it feels like it's not clicking. He's having problems on pit road, issues with the car. He still comes away with the top 5. I mean, that is something that I really didn't expect, honestly, with William Byron. He was a guy that I saw as a bubble guy, but man, he's been amazing this season, especially. Early on last season, he started hot, but he kind of cooled off a little bit. He's been great this season. So shout out to William Byron at 24. I like that bet. And then 2 other winners where, maybe you go one out of the 2, but I like RFK this weekend. I think RFK is going to be worth taking a gamble on. We look at the numbers here on DraftKings Sportsbook. You can get Kesey at plus 3,500, and you can get Chris Buescher at plus 7,000. So, you're probably asking, like, why would I bet on Buescher to win? Why would I at this point bet on Keselowski to win? They've both had really fast cars on 1.5-mile tracks. They really have. I'm really impressed with the growth I've seen in RFK. And look, like I said, track position is going to be key. And these guys have elite pit crews this season. And I think with track position being the big factor, and tire wear being the big factor, I think a lot of guys are going to have to execute well on pit road, which RFK seems to do, especially with Buescher taking the Stenhouse crew. So, 2 of the best pit crews we have right now in the sport. And I think it's worth taking a chance on these guys to put themselves and be in the right position when it counts. And I think that can get it done this weekend. So, am I super high on RFK? Like, absolutely put your money down on RFK for a big win. No, but I think it's worth taking a gamble on. I think both those guys are worth taking a gamble on. And then finally, actually, I guess that's it for winners. So now we're going to go to a top 3, top 5 bet, and that's Kyle Larson. I alluded to this bet a little bit earlier. It's the same bet we did last week at Kansas. I don't have to say much here. Second, third, last incident free races for Kyle Larson at Darlington. Second, third. So this guy's a top 5 machine. He's a top 3 machine here. Like I said, enough said. And then finally, we've got 3 top 10s. The first is going to be Eric Jones. He's a 2-time winner at Darlington. He hasn't had good cars, plain and simple. His team hasn't had, I should say, good cars. But this is a great track for him to build some confidence at. I think even without a great car, he can find a way at a track like this that he's had, great success at, to salvage a top 10. So I do like Eric Jones here. Again, I don't think the car is going to be great, but I do feel like you should take a chance on that one. And then 2 Stewart-Haas Racing Fords, Eric Almirola and Chase Briscoe. Almirola last year, 11th and 11th, so just right on the cusp of a top 10. He had a good 1.5-mile car last week at Kansas. I expect them to make some adjustments. And overall, Eric Almirola tends to run well at high wear tracks, which Darlington is sure a tire eater. And then Chase Briscoe, top 10. Right now, Briscoe's plus 10,000 to win, which I think is just absurd. He won here in Xfinity. He did have a stretch of 3 top 5s this season in a row. If that number stays, I would go for the top 10. Maybe I would go for the top 5, and I would put a little tiny something on a win there. Plus 10,000 for a guy that's won in the Cup Series, was a playoff driver last year. He's just had bad luck. I mean, they've been unlucky, whether it's a loose wheel coming off or an issue with the car. I think at Chase Briscoe, we really haven't seen him now in a few weeks running an incident-free race. And I think if he does that, he's on the level of his teammate Almirola. So I think he would be right there to get a top 10. I like the number there. So we'll run through them real quick. Harvick to win, Byron to win, the RFK cars to win, Larson top 3, Larson top 5, and then 3 top 10s in Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, and Chase Briscoe. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more coming, I would assume. So stay tuned, Johnny on the Track on Action Network. And then, of course, as always, at JOTT_podcast on Twitter. That's where I place all my bets post-practice, post-qualifying. I think that's going to me, decide a lot of what that next move is. And maybe it's Truex. I've kind of zoned in a little bit on Truex. Maybe it's Kyle Busch as well. 2 guys that were really good here at the 500 last year. So we'll see. But again, Johnny on the Track on Action Network and at JOTT_podcast on Twitter. Appreciate you guys watching. If you're a first-time viewer, definitely subscribe for more content and like this video. It always helps. And finally, of course, always comment. What are you guys thinking? Because honestly, I still have a lot that needs to play out for me to put some bets on. So maybe you can help me out with some comments on who you guys are targeting. But appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and let's have a great weekend.